Alright, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can create a simple flag that will blow in the wind. Alrighty, first thing we're going to need is a flag texture. And I'm going to go ahead and put a link to this in the description of this video. That way if you want to use this particular image, you can. Alright, I'm just going to save image, and I'm just going to put it in with my pictures up here, and click save. Now I'm going to downsize this, and I am using Blender 3.6.8, but it works the same in pretty much any version of Blender. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and hide my camera just to get it out of the way. We're going to create a pole at first. This pole is going to be what the flag will hang on, and it's just going to be basic. Add mesh, and we're going to choose a cylinder. Now I'm going to put this in front side view and then orthographic view by pressing 1, then pressing 5. And this is 2 meters in diameter. Don't need a flagpole that big round, so I'm going to press S for scale, and then bring this down to about there, and then I'm going to press S for scale and then Z for the Z axis, and then make the flagpole about that tall. Alright, now I'm going to press Ctrl A and apply the scale, and then I'm going to press Tab to bring this into edit mode. I'm going to choose face, or the faces up here, and I'm going to select this bottom face, go back into front side view, and then press E for extrude. Just move it down just a little bit and press S for scale, E for extrude, and then this will be our base. Alright, up here at the top, I'm going to select this top face, go back in the front side view, and I'm going to press E for extrude, and then I'm going to make this small, S for scale to make it small. Let me show what I'm doing a little bit better, and then E for extrude, and then E for extrude again, and we're just going to kind of round this off. S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, E for extrude, S for scale, E for extrude, S for scale. Doesn't have to be perfect, just add a little bit of something to it. Alright, and that's going to be pretty much our flagpole. Now let's go ahead and create the flag itself. Now let me open up my file manager, and here's the flag. Well, here's the properties. The flag is 1873 by 980. Now that's important so we can get the aspect ratio correct. Alright, I'm going to move this over to the side where I can see it, and I'm going to create a plane. And I'm going to choose add mesh plane, and on the x-axis I'm going to set this to 1.873 because the image of the flag is 1873 pixels. And on the other axis, I'm going to set that to 0.98, enter. See, now if we look at the flag, we know we have it this exact correct ratio. So I'm going to press G for grab, and then X, and then just move it over here so we can see it better. I'm going to press 7 to go on top side view and make sure I'm in orthographic view. We did change the size of this, so we're going to press Ctrl A to apply the scale, Ctrl A, that way all these show 1. And we're going to press Tab to bring this into edit mode, then press U and choose project from view. Alright, now I'm just going to left click and drag this over, and then change this one to UV editor. And over here in the materials tab, I'm going to click new, and I'm going to add an image texture, which is going to be the image texture of that flag. I'm going to come down here to pictures, choose the flag. Alright, now sometimes this right here isn't the exact same ratio, but it's no big deal. All we're going to do is put this on line select. I'm going to select this top line, press G for grab, and then Y, and we're going to bring it right up to the top. And the same way with each of the other edges. G for grab, X, bring it over to the edge. G for grab, Y, bring it down to this edge. And then, once again, G for grab, and for X for the X-axis, bring it over to the edge. Alright, now if we was to go back over here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and then we press color view, we could see our flag. Alright, now we need to add some subdivisions here. So I'm going to come over here to the loop cut tool. I'm going to add a loop cut there, and then adjust this to, let's say, 25. Alright, now I'm going to add a loop cut going horizontally. I'm left clicking to set, and then I'm going to set this to about 15. The idea is to create the loop cuts so that they're pretty much square. Alright, now let's go ahead and press tab to exit edit mode. Go back in the front side view, and we want to rotate this on the x-axis, so press R for rotate, X, 90, enter. Alright, now obviously this flag is too small for this flagpole, so now we can press S for scale and make it to the size we think it should be, and press G for grab and just kind of put it in place. Alright, now let's give this flag some cloth properties. So I'm going to come over here to the physics tab, and I'm going to click on cloth. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and click play just to show you what happens. The flag just falls. We don't want that to happen. We want it to hang on the pole. So we need to create a vertex group that we can basically pin into place, I guess you could say. So we need to go ahead and, since this is a physics object, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to press Ctrl A to apply the scale. Make sure all these show 1. Alright, now I'm going to press tab to go back into edit mode. I'm going to put this on vertex, and I'm going to press A once or twice until nothing is selected. And I'm going to turn off this loop cut tool, and I'm going to just, I'm going to put this back in wireframe so we can see it better. I'm going to press C for circle select and select these two, and then I'm going to select these two, C, and I'm just left clicking to select. Alright, now with those selected, we need to create a vertex group. So come over here to the vertex tab, and then where it says vertex group, click plus, and I'm going to rename this hook, because that's essentially, we're hooking the flag onto the pole from those locations. And with those particular vertices select, I'm going to click assign. Alright, now we basically just created a vertex group of those 4 vertices. Alright, now I'm going to press tab to exit edit mode, and I'm going to come back over here to the cloth, and then come down here to the shape, and where it says pin group, I'm going to right or left click and choose hook, choosing our vertex group. Now if I was to click play, but there's a problem. See, right now the flag is actually going through the pole. We don't want that to happen, so we need to make the pole a collision object. Go up to collision, and that's all we need to do, just make it a collision object. Now if we once again click play, now the flag is actually hitting the pole like it should. Alright, but if we look real close, let me put this on solid view so we can see it just a little bit better. If we watch, the flag itself is intersecting itself, and we don't want that. We want the flag to treat itself as a collision object so that it can't intersect itself. So we need to go back to the cloth settings, come down here to collisions, and then turn on self collision. Alright, now if we click play one more time, see the flag is not intersecting itself, so it's acting more like the way it should. Alright, now what we need to do, because if we just click play, the flag just falls. There's nothing special to it, eventually settles. We need to add some wind, because flags need to wave in the wind. Alright, so adding wind is actually pretty easy. All we need to do is come up here to object, and then come down here to not object, pardon, come up here to add, and then choose force field, and then choose wind. Now this wind device, think of it like a fan, but it's a fan for the entire scene. And see how it's got this arrow? That's the direction the wind is blowing. So I'm going to rotate this right there, and you don't have to put this up here, but I like putting it in place so that I can actually see what I'm trying to do with it. You could have left it here and it would have worked just fine. Alright, now right here are the settings in the physics tab, and the default strength is set to 1. So let's press play and see what happens. Not much. Now I'm going to set my frame range to 200 just so it can cycle through. Alright, I'm going to press play, and I'm going to set this to 10. Made very little, if any, difference. I'm going to set it to 100. Well, it's starting to blow it a little bit. But we need more wind. I'm going to set this to 1,000. Or 1,000, not 100. That looks a little strong, so I'm going to bring this down to 750. That should do it. Now I want to add a little bit of noise right here. That will just add a little bit of turbulence, I guess you could say, into the wind. And this seed is just kind of like where it starts on the turbulence scale, I guess you could say. Now I want to add a little bit more randomness to this, and I'm going to do that pretty simple. Press 7 to go on the top side view. Now I'm going to, with this wind force field select, I'm going to press Shift D, and I'm going to bring it over like this, and I'm going to press R for rotate and just put a little bit of angle on it, and then I'm going to press Shift D again, bring it over here, press R for rotate. So now we have a little bit of randomness, but I want these two on the sides to be a little bit weaker. So I'm going to set this one to 500. I definitely want a different noise amount, and I want a different seed. Same way with this one. I'm going to set this to, let's say, 400. Different noise amount and a different seed. Because I'm just trying to create randomness, because wind is sort of random. Now, I think I need to turn down the power just a little bit. I'm going to set this to 300. And then this one, I'm going to set it down to 250. Alright, and then this one in the middle, I'm going to turn down the power just a little bit down to 650. Alright, that's looking a little bit better. Alright, and we can actually view it in material view. And we could actually see it in rendered view. Now, if you want to bake this and keep the bake files, you need to first save your project, file, save as, and I'm just going to call this toot. Alright, and then select the flag itself. Come over here to the physics properties on the flag and cache, choose disk cache, and it will put your bake files in there. Now I'm just going to, at this point, I want this flag to have a little bit more geometry. Alright, so I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to click bake, and it's just going to create bake files for it. If I was to go into the folder that it created, which is right next to the blend file itself, you'll see a whole bunch of little files in it, which represent the geometry of this flag for each individual frame down here. All right. Now let me go to one of these frames. You can see all the little squares in there. I'm going to kind of make this look just a little bit better by going to the modifiers tab, add modifier, and then choose subdivision surface. I'm going to go ahead and put them both on 2 and leave it set to optimal display, which basically means if it can get by without creating all the extra geometry and still look just as good to the camera, then that's what it's going to do. It just will make it render ever so slightly quicker. Alright, now if I was to click play, we see the extra geometry added to it, even though it's just kind of faking it, because it's adding after it's already been baked. Alright, let me put this in rendered view. Now if you wanted to, you can create little hooks coming out here to connect to the flag. In my case, I'm just going to, normally it'd be hanging from a rope, but in this case, I'm just going to, let me see here. Let me put it back in solid view. Go back to frame 1. Here's my origin point. I'm just going to add a torus, add mesh, and then torus. And I'm going to just set this to something more reasonable, like 24 and 8. And on the minor radius right here, I'm going to set this to 0.125. Alright. And now I'm going to go on the top side view. And I'm going to, let me put it in wireframe so we can actually see what we're doing. I'm going to scale it down to about that size. Grab it on the x-axis. And then grab on the Z, and G for grab, and then Z axis, about like that. Shift D, Z. Now we have 2 pretend hooks. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about how to go about this, leave a comment and I will do my best to try to answer your question. And don't forget the Link to the flag texture is in the description of this video. Guess that's it, people. Later, people.